videos on memories. So as we discussed in the last class, so this is a 4x4 ROM array where we have 4 word lines and of course we have 4 bit lines. So assume that since it is said to be read-only memory, so we have to assume that I want to have these data to be read from this particular memory, where when word line 0 is equal to made VDD, so I should be storing 1000. So I should be able to read 1000. Since I want to get 1000, so only in this particular section I'm going to have a transistor being formed here, because I want to have this data to be stored, a data to be stored in bit line 1 with word line 0 as I should be VDD, meaning that I should store bit 1. In other 3 bits, like bit 1, bit line 2, bit line 3 with word line 0 is equal to VDD, so I should be storing 000. So that's why we are not fabricating any transistors for this intersection between bit line 1, 2, 3 with word line 0. Similarly, I want to store this data over here, so that's why wherever there is a 1, I'm having a connection from VDD to this bit line for this word line 1 only in this particular section. Whereas in this word line 2, so since I don't want to store any value, the value that should be read from all the bit lines when word line 2 is equal to VDD should be 000. So that's why we are not having any transistor over here. Of course, in word line 3, I want to have this data. Of course, this is not there. So I want to have one only for the bit line 3 with word line 3 as VDD. So that's why we have a transistor here. So I want to store out of 16 locations, I want to store only 3 bits. So that's why I'm having only 3 transistors. You can see, suppose if you want to have a different data to be stored, then wherever in whichever location you want to store bit 1, I'm supposed to have a transistor. If you don't want to have anything to be stored, if you want to store a bit 0, so I need not have to connect a transistor, or I need not have to have a transistor being formed between bit line and that particular word line. You can see we cannot modify the data that is stored in this read-only memory. Suppose assume that I want to make it as 0100 or 1101 or 0010, and if it is something like this, so then I need to have a totally different physical structure for this particular type of storage, which becomes very cumbersome. Suppose if you are using this ROM to store this data, if you want to store another data, you need to have altogether a totally different physical structure of the ROM array so that you can store the desired value, which is not good to have such a type of ROM where for every individual storage of bit 1 you have to have a transistor. For storing 0 you are not supposed to have a transistor. If it is fine if you are not changing any values of the memory, but typically what happens is we'll be keep changing even the values of read-only memory. May not be every time, so maybe whenever you want to update the system you may have to reload the memory with a new default values. In such case this is not a good way of doing it. So let us see, is there any alternate way of having the same array with much more possibility of using the same array for storing any different value. So let us try to find out something what is known as so instead of having transistor at wherever you require, so how about having transistor for all 16 combinations, meaning instead of having only 1 2 3, so let me have transistor in all 16 combinations, meaning we're going to fabricate one more transistor here. So there is one more transistor here. You can see I'm having transistor for each and every configuration. Okay, this is what I'm going to have now, and let me have it for this also. Let me have it for this also. You can see we are trying to have a transistor for each and every okay, let me just do it for this. let me do it for this also. Let me do it for this. You can see I have a connection from this to this, this to this, this to this. Next I'm going to have a connection from this to this. So now you can see I have transistor, all 16 transistors have been connected for each and every line, but this transistor cannot be a normal transistor what we used to do. So we know that a transistor method MOSFET. So this is the MOSFET configuration or the MOSFET cross section view what you're going to see, because it will going to have basically 3 terminals. So let me just take out the bulk. Okay, this is the bulk terminal. If you're looking for NMOS transistor, I'm going to have a P substrate. This is N plus, you can call this as source, drain, this is gate. The transfer characteristics of this look something like this. Suppose if there is a VT which is around 0.5 or 0.4 volts, if the input voltage exceeds more than 0.5, then the drain current flows, and then we'll say that the transistor is on for voltages anything beyond 0.5. So if the value of VGS is more than 0.5, then it is the MOSFET is said to be on. So this VGS is nothing but the word line voltages. If the word line voltage is beyond 0.5, then the transistor conducts. So when the transistor conducts, okay, you can see as though it is, so as though this VDD is connected to bit line. But if you have all the transistors something like this, if you make this word line is equal to 1, then all the transistors will conduct and you're going to have all the bit lines as 111, which is not desired. So assume that I want to store something like this, I want to store something like this. Again, you still have all these different, all 16 transistors being fabricated in the first go itself. Now let us see how do we what is the type of transistor that you're supposed to fabricate here between each bit line and the word line. So instead of having a normal transistor which is having a threshold voltage of 0.5, let us think of a different type of transistor which is called as floating gate transistor. So it is now it's a floating gate transistor. So as the name itself indicates that, so of course we know that there is a gate structure here. This is source drain. Of course in this gate structure you know that this is metal and this is the oxide. This is the oxide which will going to have which is responsible for getting the channel being created down here. So this is your channel creation. So once you apply VGS greater than threshold voltage, we're going to have the channel formed which will make the current to flow through that. Then we say the transistor is on. So to have just a minute. Okay, the transistors that are used for ROM memories with all 16 cross sections being fabricated with the transistor. Now the transistor is not a simple transistor. Now I will write a different type of transistor. You can see it has got dual gate. You can see now it has got, this is the structure of your, this is the symbol of that special MOSFET which is used as a transistor in the ROM structure. That is nothing but a floating gate transistor. The symbol of that floating gate transistor something like, it looks like this. This is now gate. You can call this as drain and source. This is an NMOS transistor. The cross sectional view of this floating gate transistor looks something like this. You're going to still have the same P minus substrate for your NMOS floating gate MOSFET. This is floating gate MOSFET, and this is your again N plus. You have your again N plus. now you have the oxide layer. You can see now there is a metal. So there is a metal. You again have an oxide, and on top of that you have one more metal. So this is now, so basically what you have is you have two gates. One is this and the other is the one which is connected to the external world. So in order to slightly rewrite this, of course you know that this is metal, this is also metal, and this is the oxide, and between these two metals you still have an oxide, and of course this is source and drain. So let me just rewrite this particular floating gate MOSFET something like this. So this is now again n plus, this is now n plus. You can see one gate which is floating, the other gate is above this. This is the actual gate structure which is connected to the external world. This I'll call it as floating gate. Why it is called as floating gate? It is not connected to the external world, it is floating between. You can see there is an oxide layer and there is an oxide layer. So since I have an oxide layer over and above this gate which is now floating in the oxide layer, so that's why this is called as a floating gate structure. I can say this is again source and drain. Suppose that you have this type of structure. Let us try to understand, okay, how does this will make a difference when you're connecting it to this type of array structure. So as we know that, so let us try to understand the characteristics of this these type of floating gate structure. So as I said that now this is your floating gate structure. Assume that this is your source. Let me connect the source to ground. Let me connect 5 volt here. Let me apply 0 volt. If I apply 0 volt, assume that the threshold voltage of this is around 0.5 volt. If the threshold voltage of this is 0.5 volt, if I apply 0 volt, this MOSFET is off. So for, let me just write it as, what is the value of let me say this is VG and this is VS and VD. Let me say the condition of this is a condition. So let me say VS is equal to 0. This is 5 volt. This, let me just put it as around. Let me also say what is VTH. So VTH is 0.5 volt. So VG, if I give 0, it is in off condition. It's in off condition because the threshold voltage is 0.5. Since your VG is equal to 0, VG is less than 0.5, the condition of your MOSFET is off. Now let us consider this is 0 volt, this is 5 volt, and this is still 0.5. If you apply 5 volt, then it is on because the threshold voltage is more than this. Now what we'll do is we will apply the input voltage such that, so instead of applying 0 to 5 volt, so because of this floating gate structure, so what we'll do is first we'll apply 0 volt and we'll apply around 20 volt. A large voltage will apply to the drain. Let us also apply 20 volt to this gate. You can see the difference now is you have applied 20 volt and you applied 0 volt here, so then VGS is 20 volt, so that you have the electron channel being created. The moment when you apply this 20 volt, a huge rush of electrons will flow from this source to drain. In such case, because this potential is also too much and this potential difference also too much, there are chances that the electrons which are flowing in this particular direction, and since this oxide thickness is very less, some of the electrons can just come and sit here and then settle down. You can see earlier there were no electrons in this gate structure. When I applied large voltage between gate and source, which is around 20 volts, and when I apply 0 to 20 volt between drain and source, these electrons tend to flow in a very high speed, and because of this higher positive voltage at the gate, there is a possibility that few electrons may just go and sit in this region. So what is the difference of having electrons in this floating gate structure or not having electrons in the floating gate structure is, when the electrons were not there in this floating gate structure, the threshold voltage was 0.5. So VTH was equal to 0.5 volt when there was no electrons in the structure, when there were no electrons. The moment when the electrons settle here, the VTH which was there at 0.5 may become 3 volt or may become 5 volt. So since the threshold voltage has increased, in presence of electrons. So why the electrons are there now accumulated here? The electrons are there trapped. Okay, let me not say accumulated. The electrons are getting enough energy and they are trapped. They could able to tunnel through the gate structure, very small oxide layer. They can tunnel through. They can just able to escape and sit in this metal structure, which is the floating gate. When the electrons sit over here, naturally the threshold voltage of this transistor, because you're going to have negative voltages. Earlier you didn't have negative voltages, the threshold voltage was hardly 0.5. Now since there are electrons which are sitting here, after you make it 0, 20 and this is also 20, the threshold, the negative voltage has increased. When the negative voltage has increased, in order to form the channel, you may have to apply larger voltage. In such case, so then the threshold voltage of this will be more. So now assume that threshold voltage has become 5 volt in presence of okay, after the electrons are there trapped and sitting in this floating gate charge. So what we'll do is we try to have this value of 1 0 1 0 and 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 0 and then 1 1 1 0 to be stored in different bit lines, different bit positions. Okay, now since I want to store a bit 1 on these two lines, on these two positions, now this is bit line 0, bit line 1 2 3, this is word line 0, word line 2, word line 3 and word line 4. So as I said here, when you make the voltage between 0 and 0.20 here between source and drain and 0.20 between source and gate, then only the electrons are trapped. So once the electrons are trapped, so what you can do is once the electrons are trapped, now you again apply, okay, this is 0 volt, this is 5 volt. Now you of course, now this is your floating gate structure. If you apply 5 volt, if you apply 5 or maybe 2.5 volt, for 2.5 volt when there was no electron, this was conducting, when you apply same 2.5 volt with, there is a change in the threshold voltage, now this looks like off, meaning if this is your word line, so when this is your word line, so what was your word line voltage? So word line voltage, assume that it is 2.5 volt. Suppose if you want to turn on a transistor, so let us just go back here. So now when I say okay, let me just go back one more page earlier, as we discussed in the last class. If you want to see what is the value that is stored here, since we know that it is 0 1 0 0, now you want to store 0 1 0 0, for which if I apply 2.5 volt here, if I apply 2.5 volt, does this transistor turns on? Because since it's a normal transistor, since the threshold voltage is 0.5, since the applied voltage is more than 0.5, now it is 2.5. So when it is 2.5, the transistor is on, so that bit line will be, this bit line 1 for this word line 0 will be read as 1. So whereas for these okay, maybe for this also it will be 1, because you have one more transistor here. Suppose now, especially in this particular case, it is 0 1 1 0, 0 1 1 0. So whenever you apply a bit line, sorry, word line of 0 is equal to 2.5, there is no transistor, the value that is read here is 0, the value that is read here is 1, this is also 1, this is also 0. So we'll be reading 0 1 1 0. Now what happens here in this particular case? So what you want to store is 0 1 0 0. So since you want to store a bit 0, for a voltage of 2.5, this should be off, this should be off, and this should also be off. Only this particular transistor, this should be on. So how to make a transistor this and this to off when the word line voltage is 0, meaning before I apply a word line voltage of 2.5, I have to increase the threshold voltage of, let me say it as transistor 1, 2, 3, 4. So transistor 1, 3, 4, so that is T1, T3, T4. The VTH of these transistors have to be increased, because as in the previous case, we are not having a selective fabrication of transistors. The transistors are fabricated in each and every location. In spite of fabricating the transistor in each and every location, so I should be reading 0, 1, 0, 0 as my bit line values when word line is equal to 0. Since I want to see a value of 0, 1, 0, 0, these transistors should have different threshold voltages, meaning only this transistor 2 should turn on when I apply a word line voltage of 2.5. If I apply a word line of 2.5, 1, 3, 4 should be still off. So how do you make this 1, 3, 4 transistors to be turned off? You have to increase the threshold voltage of 1, 3 and 4 transistor. That can be done. Okay, before I actually read this, what we have to do is first we need to enhance the threshold voltage of these. So now if you can see here, how do I enhance? Make this 20 volt, because that is your gate structure. So that's what